Let's talk about growing a cherry tree from a pit, a job that's anything but simple. It's a process that demands patience, a bit of stubbornness, and a willingness to get your hands dirty, both literally and figuratively. Most people see a cherry pit as nothing more than a leftover from a summer snack. But for a gardener, it's the start of a long, unpredictable adventure. You're taking a leftover stone from a summer snack and hoping it becomes a tree that gives you fruit. It's a leap of faith, really. Transforming what most would toss in the trash into the promise of something sweet and lasting. Every cherry pit you save is a tiny act of hope, a belief that with enough care and time, you might just coax life from something so small and overlooked. This isn't a quick project, it's the opposite of instant gratification. You won't see results in a week, or even a month. Growing a cherry tree from a pit is a test of patience, a slow unfolding that can take years before you see your first blossom, let alone a ripe cherry. It's a journey measured in seasons, not days. Why bother? Because there's real satisfaction in seeing something through from the very beginning. There's a unique joy in nurturing life, in watching a tiny pit transform into a sapling, and eventually, into a tree that stands tall in your garden. It's about more than just the fruit. It's about the story you create along the way. It's about the challenge, getting your hands dirty, and learning that nature works on its own schedule. You'll dig, plant, water, and wait. You'll learn to read the soil, to watch the weather, and to accept that sometimes, despite your best efforts, things might not go as planned. But that's all part of the experience. The real reward comes years from now, when you're picking cherries from a tree you grew yourself. Imagine the pride of tasting fruit that you nurtured from a humble pit, the satisfaction of sharing a bowl of cherries with friends and family, knowing you started this journey with nothing but patience and a bit of dirt. Things will go wrong, some pits won't sprout, seedlings might not survive, pests will show up. You'll face setbacks, maybe a late frost, maybe a hungry squirrel, maybe a seedling that just refuses to grow. It's frustrating, but it's also what makes the process real and rewarding. But that's part of the deal. You're not just growing fruit, you're growing character. Every failure teaches you something new about patience, resilience, and the rhythms of nature. And every small success, every sprout, every new leaf reminds you why you started in the first place. Sometimes, despite your best efforts, things don't work out. But when they do, there's nothing like it. The sense of accomplishment is unmatched, and the journey itself becomes just as meaningful as the harvest. Even the setbacks become stories you'll tell for years. If you're ready for a long-term commitment and a little dirt under your nails, stick with me. This isn't just about growing cherries, it's about embracing the slow, rewarding process of nurturing life from the ground up. You'll need patience, curiosity, and a willingness to learn from your mistakes. We'll cover everything from picking the right pit to fighting off critters. I'll walk you through each step, from preparing your pit for planting, to protecting your saplings from hungry birds and insects, to giving your tree the best chance to thrive. You'll learn the tricks, the pitfalls, and the little victories that make this journey worthwhile. It's a journey that starts with a single cherry and ends, hopefully, with a tree full of fruit. So grab a pit, roll up your sleeves, and let's get started on the long, dirty road to free cherries. The adventure is worth every moment. First, you need the right cherry. Not all cherries are created equal, especially if you want to grow your own tree from a pit. The journey to a healthy cherry tree starts with choosing the best possible fruit, and that means paying attention to where your cherries come from and what kind they are. Supermarket cherries are often hybrids, their pits might not grow true or at all. These cherries are usually bred for taste, size, and shelf life, not for growing new trees. Even if you do manage to sprout a pit from a store-bought cherry, the resulting tree may not produce fruit like the one you enjoyed. Your best bet is local cherries. Find a farmer's market, an orchard, or a neighbor with a tree. Cherries from these sources are more likely to be grown from traditional varieties, and their pits have a better chance of sprouting into healthy, fruit-bearing trees. Plus, you'll be supporting local growers and maybe even discovering unique cherry types you can't find in stores. Eat the cherries, but save the biggest, healthiest pits from the ripest fruit. The ripest cherries are usually the sweetest and most flavorful, and their pits are more likely to be mature and viable. Enjoy the fruit, but keep an eye out for pits that are plump, unblemished, and free from any signs of damage. Avoid pits that are cracked or small. Collect more than you think you'll need. Not every pit will sprout, so having extras increases your chances of success. Take a moment to inspect each pit, discarding any that look shriveled, chipped, or unusually tiny. The healthiest pits will give you the best shot at growing a strong seedling. Clean off every bit of fruit pulp. Leftover flesh can cause mold and ruin your chances. Rinse the pits under cool running water, gently rubbing away any clinging fruit. This step is crucial because even a small amount of leftover pulp can attract mold or bacteria, which will spoil your pits before they ever get a chance to grow. Scrub them gently, then let them air dry on a paper towel for a few days. Pat them dry first, then spread them out in a single layer so air can circulate around each pit. This helps prevent any lingering moisture from causing rot or mold during storage. Make sure they're completely dry before moving on. If you rush this step, you risk trapping moisture inside, which can spell disaster for your future seedlings. Take your time, patience now will pay off later. If you store damp pits, they'll rot. Mold and decay can set in quickly, ruining all your hard work. It's better to wait an extra day or two than to lose your entire batch to moisture. Think of it as prepping them for a long sleep. These pits need to rest and dry out completely before they're ready for the next stage. Imagine you're tucking them in for a cozy nap before their big adventure begins. Once dry, you're ready for the next step. Place the pits in a breathable container or a paper envelope and keep them somewhere cool and dry until you're ready to move on. This careful preparation sets the stage for successful germination. This is where we trick the pit into thinking it survived a long cold winter. By chilling the pits in your refrigerator, you're mimicking the natural process that cherry seeds go through outdoors. This cold period, called stratification, is essential for waking up the seed and getting it ready to sprout. It's a bit weird, but it's crucial. With your pits prepped and chilled, you're one step closer to growing your own cherry tree from scratch. Let's get to it. Now, we need to trick the cherry pits into believing they've survived a long, cold winter. This process is called cold stratification, and it's absolutely essential for getting your seeds to sprout. Without this step, the pits will just sit in the soil, refusing to wake up, no matter how much you water or wait. In nature, cherry pits fall to the ground in autumn and spend the entire winter nestled in cold, damp earth. The chilly temperatures and moisture slowly break down the tough outer shell, signaling to the seed inside that it's safe to start growing when spring arrives. Since we can't control the seasons, we'll recreate this natural process right in your own refrigerator. Your fridge becomes a mini winter wonderland for your cherry pits, giving them the cold treatment they need. Start by placing your clean, dry cherry pits in a container filled with a moist, but not soaking wet medium. You can use damp peat moss, sand, or even a few layers of paper towels. The key is to keep the environment humid enough to soften the shell, but not so wet that the pits rot. Once your pits are nestled in their cozy bed, cover the container with a lid. Make sure to poke a few holes for air circulation and don't forget to label it with the date. Trust me, it's easy to lose track of time during this long nap. Place the container in the back of your fridge where the temperature stays consistently cold. Leave it there for 3 to 4 months. Yes, it's a long wait, but this chilling period is what convinces the pits that winter has truly passed. Every couple of weeks, check on your pits. Make sure the medium stays damp, not dry or soggy. If you spot any mold or fuzzy growth, gently wipe it away with a paper towel. This little bit of maintenance keeps your seeds healthy and ready to sprout. After about 90 to 120 days, you might notice some pits starting to crack open, revealing a tiny white root. This is the first sign that your patience is paying off. The seed is waking up and getting ready to grow. That's your signal. Winter is officially over for your cherry pits, and it's time to move on to the next exciting step. Don't worry if not every pit sprouts. It's completely normal for only some of them to crack and send out roots. Nature always works in its own mysterious way. The pits that do sprout are now ready for planting. These are your future cherry trees, just waiting for their chance to grow. This quiet, behind-the-scenes process is the secret to waking up your future tree. It's a gentle reminder that good things take time and care. It takes patience, a little bit of faith, and a willingness to wait. But when you finally see those first roots, you'll know it was all worth it. Once you spot those roots, it's time to gently plant your sprouted pits in soil. This is where the real adventure begins. Let's get planting and watch your cherry trees come to life. The journey from pit to tree is underway, and your hands are now part of nature's incredible story. Sprouted pits mean it's planting day. Use small pots, quality potting mix, and a sunny spot. Each sprouted pit gets its own pot, don't crowd them. Avoid garden soil, use well-draining potting mix to prevent root rot. Fill pots, water lightly, and plant each pit about an inch deep, root down if possible. Cover gently, water again, but don't drown them. Place pots on a sunny windowsill. Seedlings need lots of light and warmth. Keep soil moist but never soggy. In a few weeks you'll see a green shoot, your seedling. It's fragile, but it's a survivor. You've turned a pit into a living plant. Take a moment to appreciate it. The dirty work is paying off. Now, the waiting game starts again. Keep caring for your seedlings. Soon, you'll have a young tree. Let's keep it alive. That first green shoot is a big moment. It means your patience paid off, but your job's just begun. Seedlings are delicate and need careful attention. Light is crucial, lots of sun, or use a grow light if needed. Rotate the pot daily for even growth. Water when the top inch of soil is dry, don't overdo it. Once your seedling has a few sets of true leaves and is a few inches tall, it's time to think about transplanting. If you planted several seeds together, thin out the weakest. If each has its own pot, watch for roots poking out or stalled growth. Then it's time for a bigger pot. This is the start of your tree's next chapter. Keep it strong, and you'll be ready for the next step. Growing a tree is a series of small victories. Celebrate each one. Transplanting to a bigger pot is a milestone. Water the seedling the day before to make moving easier. Choose a pot just a bit larger, too big, and the soil stays wet. Fill with fresh, well-draining mix, make a hole, and gently move the root ball. Don't bury the stem, keep the root ball at the same level. Water well and return to a sunny spot. As your sapling grows, it'll need more food. Start fertilizing lightly after a month. Use diluted, balanced fertilizer every few weeks in spring and summer. Stop in autumn. The goal is to plant it outside, but only when it's strong, at least a foot tall with a woody stem. Harden it off by gradually exposing it to outdoor conditions over a week or two. Take it slow. This prevents shock. With care, your tree will be ready for the real world. You're almost there. Not all cherries are the same. There are sweet and sour types. Sweet cherries need a pollinator buddy. Sour cherries are usually self-fertile and hardier. If you're a beginner or have limited space, sour cherries are a safer bet. The pit you started with is a genetic wild card. It might not match the parent. Ask the grower about the variety if you can, but expect surprises. Trees from pits can take 7–10 years to fruit, and the results are unpredictable. Patience is key. Even if the fruit isn't perfect, you'll have a beautiful flowering tree. The journey is the reward. The fruit is just a bonus. Growing a cherry tree means defending it from pests and disease. Healthy trees fight off problems best. Keep yours well watered and fed. Watch for aphids, blast them off with water or use soapy spray. Birds love cherries. Netting is the only real defense. Fungal diseases thrive in damp weather. Prune for good airflow and remove diseased branches. Don't compost infected material. Get it out of your garden. Constant vigilance is required. It's a dirty job, but it's the only way to protect your tree. Stay alert and your tree will have a fighting chance. The payoff is worth the effort. Growing a cherry tree from a pit is a long, messy journey, measured in years, not weeks. There will be setbacks, pits that don't sprout, seedlings that fail, pests and disease. But the value is in the process, not just the fruit. You'll learn about nature, patience, and problem solving. There's no guarantee of success. Your tree might give you amazing cherries, or none at all. But you'll have a beautiful tree with a story. Shade in summer, blossoms in spring, and a sense of accomplishment. If you do get cherries, they'll taste sweeter for all the work you put in. You earned it. You saw the job through from start to finish. That's a reward no supermarket can sell. Growing a tree from a pit is a dirty job, but few are more satisfying. Now go find a cherry. The work, and the story, awaits. Good luck.